Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Cooking with Trash. I'm Cameron.
I'm Ellen.
And today, we are going to be cooking with trash. Let's begin.
Oh yeah, baby, it's on. Got a bunch of strawberries in here. Tons of strawberries, oh my god. All right, let's open this bad boy up and see what happens. Well, if you like strawberries, you came to the right dumpster. So we're just gonna grab the ones that are still good and make use of those. Berries and cherries, huh? Oh, the plastic bag's still okay. See that? The box is ruined. The plastic's still intact, so I'll go ahead and take that. What's this? There's hard salami. I usually try not to take any meat. Just for the simple fact is that you can never be too sure whether it's good or not. Got organic salsa. Take some of that. Freaking ridiculous, man. What was the point of throwing out all these strawberries? We got more eggs here. More frosted flakes here. Some apples down here. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna say this is probably it for this dumpster because it's just so jam-packed with all these strawberries. Most of the stuff is on the bottom where it's been kind of cooking with the heat of the day, so. You see that? Dumpster diving etiquette. You always close and clean up your mess. Alright. Alright, decent little haul.
Alrighty, guys, so I just wanted to show you real quick what we do with the food once we bring it back from the dumpster. So usually you should probably wash the food first and foremost, but because I'm usually dumpster diving pretty late, I'm exhausted by the time I get back, so I usually just go ahead, put anything that could spoil easily, things like fruits, vegetables, dairy products, all that stuff. I just put it right in the fridge, and then that way it keeps it fresh overnight. And then the following day, I'll remove it from the fridge, and I can start sifting through the good and the bad, and washing the ones that are good, make sure that they're nice and thoroughly washed, and then we can begin cooking with them, so. Alrighty, guys, on today's episode, we are going to be making a nice summer potato salad. All right, so we've got a bunch of different ingredients here that we pulled from the dumpster, and we've got a couple cooking utensils that we're going to be using. We're just going to briefly go over those. So if you feel like cooking along, you may do so, okay? So first and foremost, we got a bunch of pots and pans over here. Just on this side, we've got some olive oil, some pepper, and some salt. We did not dumpster dive these, but I feel like these are things that most people would have access to. So that's kind of the rule here is we work primarily with dumpster dive food, and then if we are going to add anything, usually it'll just be, you know, something to add a bit of kick to the flavor. So in terms of things that we have dumpster dive, we've got a bunch of radishes here. We do have an onion, also dumpster dive. We've got 2 apples. We've got iceberg lettuce here. Nice head of iceberg lettuce. We've got a big old thing of celery, an immense amount of potatoes. Honestly, I don't even know if we're gonna cook all these, but we're gonna try our best nonetheless, all right? And we also have an immense amount of eggs over here. So those are all of the ingredients that we dumpster dive. We're also gonna be using a knife, a peeler, and a spoon. Hey. And we have a whisk and a measuring cup. And we also have, we got a strainer. We got mixing bowls, another strainer here. So, and a chopping board as well. So that's pretty much everything that we're going to be using today. Let's get started, shall we? All right, step one, let's discuss.
So I want to do our radishes two different ways. I'm going to be mandolining them very thin. They're going to be a beautiful crispy garnish on top of our salad when it's done. And the others I want to quarter, and I'm going to saute them, get them a little bit brown, a little bit roasted flavor. Okay. So we'll have radishes two different ways on our potato salad. All right, so remember mandolin, we're going to be very careful of our fingertips. We're not pushing down, we're just sliding it across the blade like that.
So what if someone doesn't have a mandolin at home? How can they reproduce this?
You can slice very thin as you can get your radishes. That's really all a mandolin is doing, is slicing.
This is getting scary close.
When it gets scary close,
I'm gonna say
stop.
that's good. Yeah,
we stop.
That's good.
And that can become one of our roasted pieces. Oh, no waste there.
Cool. Zero waste kitchen.
And what we want is to hold these in some water, otherwise they're going to dry out and get kind of brown and not pretty.
You can see how thin these are. So these are like transparent. That's how.
Those are going to be so pretty.
Awesome.
All right, and then the other thing I want to do with these, we're going to take these and I want to cut them into quarters, across lengthwise and lengthwise, just like that.
Super simple. So you're left with these nice little cone shapes here, and then beep.
There you go.
All right, step two. Now that we've diced up a couple radishes, we move on to our dumpster onion. What's the plan?
Same as usual. I'm just going to dice it, have that in with my sauteed veg, top and bottom it, slice it in half, peel off that skin, which is going to go into our compost, and then I think I'm going to make some nice horizontal cuts like this.
Okay. Getting a little bit technical here in the kitchen.
I'm going to go across now the top like that, and now when I slice through, I've already got my dice. It's already there.
Super easy. For her at least. Bam! Just like that. Alrighty, we have moved on to the apples now, alright? So we're just going to be dicing this bad boy up from what I understand.
Yeah, I'm going to leave the skin on because I think it's pretty for color. I also like the taste of it. You can take the skin off if you're not a fan of it. So all I've done is cut away the core, compost.
There you go, compost. Or if you like the apple core, you like to munch on it, go for it, get involved.
Okay, so I want kind of small pieces here, like that. And I'm going to put all of these too in some water just to keep them from browning while we're preparing the rest of the food.
Let me get involved here.
Have at it.
Let me show you how it's done.
That's it, fingers curled out of the way of that knife. Look at that.
Claw, remember the claw? If you can get all four of your fingertips to hit the chopping board at the same time, you know you have a successful claw. Oh, look at this technique. Where did that come from? Out of nowhere.
Perfect.
Genetics.
Perfect.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Some people have it, some people don't, you know. Sucks to suck.
So don't bother watching because you won't be able to do this unless you're genetically
Gifted. Yeah.
Way to trash our trash show.
Unfortunately, this is the only thing I'm genetically gifted in. All right, we've got onions out of the way, we got radishes out of the way, we've got apples out of the way. Now we have celery. What is the plan? I am so lost.
We're going to take a rib of celery. I'm going to pick off any pretty leaves I see. We're going to use those as garnish. The leaves can be very bitter. They make a pretty garnish, and just a few on top of a salad can add a nice note of flavor there. I'm going to just kind of cut off the raggedy end. So for lots of crunch, I'm going to leave these whole and just slice right across the end. To make it a little bit fancy, we can do a bias cut, which is nothing more than cutting on an angle. That's called a bias cut.
Why is it called a bias cut?
Bias means angle. And you can see how they come out a little bit bigger, pretty.
Oh my God,
and they're going to have a little bit of crunch to it.
Wow, nice.
All right.
What about the top bits here? What's the plan with these? Just keep chopping?
A lot of people don't.
We do.
I do. I think it's all good taste in celery, and it all has the same crunch. So other than separating out those leaves, I like to use the whole rib. now that we know what a rib of celery is.
Kobe.
By the way, he's not just throwing things around the kitchen. That's our compost over there.
I am also just throwing things
And
around
also
the
he
kitchen.
tends
Yeah.
to just throw things around the kitchen. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so we've done a bunch of dicing. We've been through a lot, and we've finally arrived at our last and final dicing. Let me say that a bit better. I fucking butchered that.
Cut, print, that's it.
Yeah, and that's all you need to know. All right, guys, it's been a whirlwind of events. We've seen a lot, we've been through a lot, but we have finally arrived on the potatoes here. And let's discuss, what exactly are we going to be doing with these?
So much like with the radish, I want two different presentations, if you will, of potato on this dish. We're going to be peeling some of them, saving the peels, and frying them, getting them very crispy, a little bit of salt, and that's going to be a garnish on top. It's going to add some crunch. Also, I love potato peels. I love the earthiness of them. And then we are going to be cubing our potato so that we can blanch it in water, get it a little bit soft, and then we're going to toss that in. So
What exactly is blanching?
Blanching is lightly boiling it so that you can get it soft enough to eat. It's cooking it in water, but not so much that it's going to be mashable. We want to keep a little bit of texture there.
Cool, let's begin.
So we're going to start by just making peels. Now when you're doing it for these potato peel crisps, you want kind of bigger. You want to get them kind of long and big so that you'll have something
To chomp on.
to chomp on, just like so. And we have red, we have Idaho's, let's do two colors. Why wouldn't we? All right, so the last thing we're going to do with the potato, skin on. Again, I love skins. You can peel them if you want, but I love my skins. And we're going to cut these into chunks. As long as they're about the same size, doesn't matter if they're the same exact shape. But what you want is for all of them to cook at the same time. So you don't want little tiny pieces and then big pieces and they're all cooking at different times.
All right, moving right along. Okay, so now that we've finished dicing all of our veggies over there, we have moved on to the actual cooking process. So as you can see, we've got our little griddle. Is that the proper term here?
Yeah, portable griddle. Yeah.
We've got a pan full of oil, olive oil, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our little potato skins that we've peeled and slap those bad boys in there. So let's begin.
All right, so I want to make sure that the oil is hot enough. So I'm just going to take one. Watch yourself. And it no longer is. Yep, there we go. We got a nice sizzle going on.
There we go.
So we're just going to put these in there. I have ready some paper toweling or leftover napkins, slotted spatula. So when these look nice and crispy, I'm going to pull them out of that fat and put them on here to drain so they'll stay crispy.
Okay, so we've left the potatoes to cook for, what, a minute, if that, a minute and a half,
Takes
maybe?
a few minutes.
Minutes.
What a lot of people don't know about frying foods is you're actually drying the food out. So when you start to see a few less of these bubbles, that means a lot of that moisture's already been pulled out and you're going to have some beautiful crispy potato bits.
Awesome.
So I'm going to go ahead and scoop them out and put them to
That's
drain.
going to taste good.
Just like so. And while they're still warm, we're going to salt them a little bit. All right, a little bit of salt on there. And they're going to be a beautiful crispy garnish.
Check that out. We got some nice little crispy potato peels there. Cool.
Yum.
All right, so we'll go ahead and set those aside. Moving on to step 2. Alrighty, potato skins fried, ready to go. Now we are going to move on to all of those veggies and the apples that we chopped, and we're going to start cooking them.
So I'm going to start with the red radishes. I want to make sure they get a little bit of brown coloring on them. So in they go. I'm going to salt a little bit right now. And if you do the honors, maybe 2
Little pepper.
little bit of pepper.
Crunk.
Sometimes cooking is hurry up and wait.
We're just going to stand here and stare at you for the next 5 minutes as these cook down.
As soon as I start to see a little bit of brown on there, I'm going to start adding my apples, my onions, and my celery. All right, we've got a little bit of cook going on our radishes, so we're going to add in our onion, apple, okay, and our celery.
Sprinkle it on top.
Sprinkle it.
Pour one out for the homie.
As per usual, a little salt.
A little salt.
Perfect. And then we're going to get a little bit of pepper on there.
All right. There we go. Well, that smells awesome.
So I'm going to let this just cook down for a little bit. And right now then, while this is cooking down, we can move on to our hard-boiled eggs and our potatoes.
Got it. Let's
All
do
right.
it. Okay, we have a couple of eggs here. What exactly are we doing with these?
So we're going to be hard-boiling these eggs. I have a small pot of water already on. Pull it off. We can see it's boiling there quite nicely. I'm going to drop my eggs in. I'm using tongs so I don't burn myself. And we're going to leave that for 12 minutes.
Okay, 12 minutes later, these eggs are ready to be removed from the pot. So we're gonna use our tongs. We're gonna pull these bad boys out of there into a nice little ice bath here. It's basically just gonna cool them down. What we're trying to do is peel the hard-boiled eggs. Right. And if we try to do that when it's just been soaking in a couple 100-degree water, it's not gonna be a fun time for any of us. So that's why we have the ice bath here, to prevent any third-degree burns.
From the steam bath
Into the ice bath.
into the Arctic.
There
you
we
go.
go.
Hard-boiled eggs.
Okay, so we have our diced potatoes here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move them into this boiling pot of water, add a bit of salt, and let them cook down. We're going to blanch them.
Yeah, till they're just tender. All right, very carefully.
Yeah, I'm standing back for this.
You want to add a little salt to that?
Bada bing.
We're going to bring them back up to the boil and just let them go that small, probably 7 to 10 minutes. They'll be ready.
Now that we've let the eggs soak in their little ice bath for a little while, they are ready to be peeled. So I'm sure everyone has peeled an egg before. We don't really have to go into too much detail. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll peel one of these.
Go for it.
Bam, you get a little crack in there just like that. Start things off, and then you just start to peel the shells, all right? If this is new to you guys,
Where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been your entire life?
So at this point, moment of truth to see what cook we got on
What
that.
happened with this egg?
Look at that, it's a perfect hard-boiled
Show 'em.
egg.
That was your doing.
Yay!
Alrighty guys, so now that we have the hard-boiled egg, we've peeled it and everything, we are going to do a pretty cool little technique with it. Would you like to explain?
Yeah, this is a fun way to plate your eggs. It can add a little texture and color to your plate. We're going to separate the yolk from the white, and then we're going to take the white, we can break it into pieces if you like. We're going to take a sieve, a fine mesh sieve, over a bowl, and the back of a spoon, just a regular spoon, and we're going to push the white through the sieve. And you can see we're starting to get some little fluffy bits of the egg white. It's going to end up looking like this. It's a very cool texture that you can spread on the plate.
Alrighty guys, our veggies and potatoes are cooked. Our other potatoes here are cooked. We've got our eggs prepped over here. We've got our toppings over there. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna chuck it all in this bowl here and create a beautiful meal, I believe.
Okay, so what I'm doing first is I'm making my potato salad. Potatoes in, we're gonna add all of those beautiful veg. You can see how they got some nice brown coloring now. You wanna give that a little mix there, sir?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. And make sure that we've got enough flavor in there and a little moisture. We're gonna add a little extra virgin olive oil. I've got a little bit of red wine vinegar, just to add a little bit of brightness to it.
Right in there. Alrighty, that looks and smells pretty fantastic.
It looks fantastic. I think we're ready to plate.
Have a look at that bad boy right there. Ooh, ah, oh my God. Okay guys, at long last we have finished this meal. All right, this is our potato salad on a bed of lettuce. That's the lettuce that we also pulled from the dumpster. We've got our fried potato skins on there. It's all the potatoes and veggies that we cooked up, we diced and cooked up. This is our egg white and our egg yolk, and created this cool little artsy-fartsy kind of line here on the plate. And then we have our mandolined radishes there as like a little quirky garnish. All right, we're gonna taste test it and let you guys know if it's good or if it's terrible. Chef first.
Cheers and thank you. I'm liking that because it's eating like a meal. I mean, it's a potato salad, but there's so many flavors and textures going on. I'm gonna grab a little chip if I
A
can.
little crunchy here as well. Good?
Yes.
All right, let me see. See, this is how you taste it. You don't just grab one at a time. You grab the whole freaking thing. Don't be afraid to destroy the presentation. That's super good.
Yeah.
This as well is incredibly cheap to make. I mean, honestly, you could probably get the whole thing if you weren't dumpster diving it. You could probably get the whole thing for what, under 20 bucks for sure.
Under 20? I would say this is about a $2 plate of food.
Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching yet another episode of Cooking with Trash. If you guys have any dumpster recipes or adventures, experiences that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear about it. We'd love to share it with the rest of the community. So please drop us an email, send us a private message, whatever you want to do, get in contact with us because we would love to see what you guys are doing. All right, guys, and if you like what we're doing and would love to support the project financially, you can do so. We have a Patreon account that's also going to be linked in the description below. Any amount that we raise basically goes straight back into the project. Even just watching and commenting is enough support as it is. But if you'd like to go a step further, we'd very much appreciate that. So check it out. With that said, peace out, guys. We will catch you on the next episode of Cooking with Trash.